Am I the asshole for laughing in my brother and Sil's faces when they demanded to use my credit card? So I am 22F. I don't have much knowledge about finances and stuff as I still live at home as I'm at university. I do however pay my parents about £300 a month rent. I pay my own phone plan, buy material stuff I want or need, pay out for other services like for music or whatever and try to put as much as I can in savings whilst still keeping enough in my main account for day-to-day purchases. Currently, I am saving up for driving lessons and hope that if I pass decently, I can use some of my savings towards getting a car. I'm in my final year of uni so I'll be done and able to work full-time when all this happens. I also decided to get a credit card so I can learn how to manage credit wisely and build some up. My credit score is good for someone of my age and circumstance but obviously it's nothing great in comparison for other stuff. I should point out that at most I only plan on using this card with a total adding up to £100. I've stuck to that so far and only actually used it twice with these purchases only adding up to £80 and I paid it off quickly. I do not plan on exceeding my limit anytime soon as I've heard far too many horror stories of people just using their credit card too much cause it was handy and getting into debt. The only people I disclosed this to was my dad as my mum has the tendency to blab to my brother and Sil, both 28. She happened to overhear us talking one day and before I knew it, my brother and Sil got wind and asked me if they could use it. They both admitted they had debt spurred on by excessive credit card use and thought that since I basically had nothing owed on mine, it was free money. I told them quite politely that I was really uncomfortable with that idea and that I would owe the money and I can't magic up that kind of money. Things went quiet until a few days later they both turned up at the house. They were nice to start with but basically started demanding I let them use the card and they tried to manipulate my mother into guilting me into doing it. I got really angry and when my brother said I owe it to them because they used to babysit me up until a couple of years ago, I laughed in their faces and walked out. When I came home, I learned they tried to manipulate my dad and he kicked them both out. My mother then tried and he told her to go too and she is currently staying with my brother and Sil. The only person on my side is my dad who tells me they're all trying to take me for a ride and they're trying to manipulate me cause I'm young and they think I'm vulnerable. My brother, Sil and Mum on the other hand think it isn't a big deal letting someone else use my card. It's really messing with my head and I just want everyone to stop being in an argument. Am I the asshole?
Not the asshole. Do not let them bully you into committing fraud. The only people to blame for their debts are themselves and if you let them use your card, they'll rack up further debt. They won't be liable as it'll be under your name. They've stacked up the costs so you'll be the one out of pocket and that'll damage your credit score even further. I think having a set limit is really mature and the smart thing to do. Do not give in for the love of God just because you're young and don't know much about credit and finance. Your dad is right. They're trying to take advantage of you. Edit. I don't know why people are giving this comment so many awards as it's literally common sense but thanks anyway I guess.
Not the asshole. Your family are being incredibly manipulative. This isn't free money and they are trying to saddle you with debt.
Definitely not the asshole. It's just like your dad said. They are trying to manipulate and use you. You owe them nothing. If they want payment for babysitting you then they need to get that money from your mom and dad. Which your dad has made clear won't happen. They're trying to use your credit and/or credit card and stick you with the bill. You already pointed out they can't manage their own finances and are already in debt. Stay away from these people. Not the asshole. Sheesh. Hide the card, and keep an eye on your credit score just in case they decide to open a new card with your SSN, assuming they have access to that. Edit, since this blew up whatever the SSN equivalent is in the UK.
What drugs are they on? Because credit cards aren't free money. You have to pay back the money later on. No wonder they have credit card debt. Not the asshole. Never lend out your credit card. You might charge shared expenses to your credit card to accrue credit, but make sure to demand the other party pays you back within a certain timeline or if they are charging another shared expense to their credit card to offset the loan. But don't give out your credit card number and CVC, ever.
Not the asshole. Your father is right. It's ugly when family take advantage of family. Go and hug your father for protecting you. Not the asshole. What in the hell level of entitlement is this? They are insane. The credit card is yours. They are not now, nor ever will be, entitled to use it. Not the asshole. Be glad your dad is decent and smart because your other family members aren't.
Not the asshole. If your mother feels so strongly about this, tell her to lead by example. After all, they did babysit you when you were young. They are trying to steal from you. Clear and simple. If they cannot pay off their own debts, no way they'll be good to paying you back. Your mother very much seems like an enabler. Taking on more debt is the least thing they need. You're doing exactly the right thing by both living within your means and keeping them from taking you down with them. Not the asshole, and look into locking your credit card. Pretty much every card I've ever had has a lock option in the app, so it can't be used unless you go into the app and unlock it. That way, if they find a way to steal your card, you won't have to fight with the credit card company to get your money back, and you can use it for whatever small purchases you want by going into the app right beforehand and unlocking it long enough to put the charge on your card and locking it again. Not the asshole. The only person responsible for the card and anything owed on it is you. The only person who'll have an impact on their credit is you. If they've had trouble managing their own debt in the past and are telling you this, it's ludicrous that they think you'd give them access to your card. It is a big deal. Don't share your credit with anyone else.
Not the asshole. Never, never let someone else use your card until you are able to pay for it. You did good. Your dad is awesome.
You're old enough to know this sounds stupid. They use your card, someone has to pay it off. Not sure why you'd be the asshole if you have any common sense. You're not two, you're 22. Grow a backbone, say no and move on. Oh, and hide your card, as they're the type of people that sounds like they'd just help themselves.
Not the asshole. Cancel the card in the meantime just in case they've managed to get the details. On the off chance that they do use your card, have them all charged with fraud and identity theft. It's the only way that they'll realize that their actions have consequences and that no means no. Listen to your father. Not the asshole. They are literally trying to steal money from you. Honesty, they just sound like deadbeat shit people. Why would you even associate with people like this? Just tell them to fuck off. And I mean literally fuck off. You don't need people like this in your life at all. They are just losers trying to drag people down to their level. Fuck them off for good. Don't be polite either. Not the asshole. Listen to your dad. I'm glad he took up for you. The last thing you want is to rack up credit card debt. Sounds like you've been really smart and responsible with the card so far. Keep it up. Having great credit makes life so much easier.
They babysat you until you were 20. But even if they meant a few years ago, rather than a couple, that's still 18. From your post, you don't strike me as the kind of young person who needed two older adults babysitting her at 18. However, they do. It sounds like you should have been giving them life lessons. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Never lend money you can't afford not to get back, and never agree to get into debt for anyone else, especially when those people have admitted they can't get themselves out of their own credit card debt. Any attempts to say that you should support family blah 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 is manipulation and you shouldn't stand for it. You sound like you're a really sensible person and I'm glad your dad is on your side.
My mother then tried and he told her to go too, and she is currently staying with my brother and Sil. Your story was realistic until this line. You are the asshole. This is written by a 12-year-old and is fake as fuck. Not the asshole. You would never see a penny. I'm glad you have your dad to back you up. Keep laughing. How is this even a question? Am I the asshole for not letting my family steal my money? What?
Not the asshole. You don't owe them for babysitting, your parents does. Never leave your card alone.
Not the asshole. Your dad is correct. Do not let them use your card and make sure nothing with the information can be found by them. Also, watch your account and credit score to make sure they don't use your information to get them cards in their name. This happened to me in my 20s and it took me years to fix my credit.
You'd never see the money again if you let them use the card. They already have debt built up, and they need to learn to spend within their means. You letting them use their card is just enabling their reckless spending habits further, and likely to suck you into the same financial trouble that they're already in. Not the asshole, and I can't believe your mother is on their side. Do not let them use your card. Not the asshole. If you let them use your card, you owe that money, not them.
Not the asshole. What kind of oddballs think you have free money with credit? That's not how any of it works. Keep your debt low and save it for a rainy day. The occasional item is fine too, but I'd wait until other priorities are met.
Not the asshole.
Please freeze your credit so your mom can't take out a card in your name.
Not the asshole. I'm not sure how it works in the UK, but keep an eye on your credit and make sure they don't open anything in your name.
Laughing my ass off your brother and Sil are a piece of work. Listen to your father. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole, dude, stay away from everyone but your dad.
I would be very careful that they don't take a card out in your name. Especially since your mother seems like an enabler and doesn't sound like she would stop them.
Not the asshole. Know and make sure that they never get access to that card or they will use it. Never lend your card to anyone you wouldn't trust. If they had the money to pay you back promptly, they wouldn't need that card in the first place. Not the asshole, your brother and Sil are trying to scam you, and your mother is either enabling them or is a world-class idiot. I'm glad your dad can see through them and has your back. In the meantime, I would ring up the credit card company, get your present card cancelled in case they have the details, and get a new one issued. They sound the types who would try to use it fraudulently, and you need to protect yourself. Get all your accounts and statements online where only you can see them with a password, and don't talk about financials with your mother ever again. She obviously can't be trusted to keep her mouth shut. Not the asshole, they are basically trying to steal from you. They want to use your card, rack up debt in your name and not pay you back.
Are they on drugs? The brother and Sil. Why so desperate for money?
Not the asshole. Run a credit report to ensure they don't take one out in your name. If they do, prosecute them to the fullest measure available. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag.
NTA. Not the asshole. If they had used your card, they would dig you into a grave of debt.
Not the asshole. You're only looking after yourself, which is what you should do at the end of the day. As mentioned in the post, your brother and Sil have a bad track record of racking up debt, and they're already in debt. By allowing them to use your card, they might get out of the debt, but then you will have to foot the bill, and there is really no reason as to why you should, given that it isn't your debt in the first place. They got themselves into it, they can get themselves out. It's not your problem to worry about, nor should it be, really.
Idea. I'd cancel the current card and then cut it up in front of your bill, Sil, so they won't harass you anymore. Then get a new credit card and tell no one. Not the asshole, it's only free money if you don't pay it back. Which, since it's your credit card, they aren't on the hook for. Don't screw up your credit. Poor credit can make it harder to get car and home loans, and to qualify for credit card accounts. Even if you are offered a loan, chances are it will be at a higher interest rate. Consumers with lower credit scores generally pay more for auto, renters, and homeowners insurance. Employers may run a credit check before offering you a job, especially if you're applying for a management position or one that involves handling money. It's obvious these people don't care about the consequences of bad credit, for you or for themselves. Don't let them drag you down.
Not the asshole. Please put your credit on lockdown and report any suspicious activity immediately. Especially if your mom has access to personal information. I had to do this because I cut my crazy stalker parents off, and I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to mess with my fiancés. Make sure your mom isn't on any of your accounts. And start documenting all the events now with dates and who was there. That way, you have a clear timeline.
Not the asshole, they will wreck your credit and not pay you back. You know this.
You're not the asshole, but your dad is the goat.
NTA.
Not the asshole, free money. Yes, free money for them is what they mean, not for you, as you'd be paying it back and the interest. Good for you sticking to your guns and not giving in. Weird your mum is trying to do this to you though.
I can't believe this story, it makes no sense at all. No one thinks of credit cards as free money. No parent would be. Let your brother spend all your credit card money, it's not real money.
Not the asshole. What your brother and Sil are asking, and your mother is enabling, is problematic. I'm not sure that it qualifies as fraud if you knowingly allow them use, but I do know that what they're on about is bullshit. They are the only people to blame for their debts and you have absolutely no obligation to allow them to use your card. That they see it as free money, and somehow feel entitled to it is very, very odd, and speaks to their inability to manage money and personal relationships. They won't be liable for any debts incurred as the card is in your name. Your dad is right. They're trying to take advantage of you. Hang on to that card and keep it well hidden away from your brother and Sil.